So this one's about planning, why I like gold for that planning, and then what 2 is 1 means. And don't worry, it's not about math. Okay, so I planned to knock out a Q&A video today, but I saw that I got the same question 4 times. And that question was about my channel name, like, what's the story behind 2 is 1? Now this probably wouldn't be enough for a whole video alone, but it's a good lead into my thoughts on planning and then being prepared. And I'm going to give you an example of what that means. But to start, the idea behind the name is pretty simple. It's a planning mantra. 2 is 1, 1 is none. Now if you only have one plan or one tool, you just aren't prepared. So at the 30,000 foot view, it's like having a plan B in case something goes wrong. And then at the street level, it's having a backup hammer if you're a carpenter. And it's just something I've always had in my head because I heard it over and over growing up, and then I experienced it firsthand as I got older. And I suppose in my advanced age, I guess having 2 of everything, well, that's going to help as I start to forget things. But as it relates to precious metals, I see gold as an important balance against other investments. So 2 is 1 covered that idea of balance and common sense planning without really locking me into talking about one single thing. It's also just really easy to type. So these videos just started out as me trying to give some basic advice on how to buy gold. Really, I was trying to take some of the guesswork out of it because it isn't something that you typically hear about in casual company. It's usually something that comes up through trial and error, and it can be easy to make pretty expensive mistakes. I think these videos are more about making good decisions over time, so the channel's more about planning. I think gold is a smart way to save since it's both liquid and it's also a little bit of fun. And then as you start to get some set aside, well, it just makes life a little bit less stressful because it gives you that bit of a backup. In that example of a plan that I mentioned, well, that might be setting a goal of 3 ounces and then planning out how to get there. That gives you $5,000 to $6,000 for emergency expenses. And I think what most people will find is that they end up making those purchases at least partially with cash that would have been wasted on unnecessary things. You'll also find that 3 ounces becomes 6, 6 becomes 12, and at 12 ounces you have a year of emergency backup, meaning that you can sell down an ounce a month if you get pinched. That might be from a loss of a job, it might be from a bad economy, there's a lot of different reasons. Ideally I don't have to use it at all, but it's there for my family if I need it. I think a good place to start is with an annual goal and then figuring out how to get there with a plan. Now, I bought 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagles every month. That was as a base for a lot of years. So my annual goal was to set a foundation of 3 ounces a year. And the planning part was pretty simple. That was pure dollar cost averaging on those 1/4 ounce American Gold Eagles. And then I would make additional one-off purchases when it was convenient and when the price was right, but I only bought more when it made sense for me. And you'll find that a lot of YouTube content is out there trying to stitch drama into buying precious metals, but that really has never made sense to me. And it's easy enough to ignore all that, but because I'm on YouTube all the time now, I'm just seeing more of it. And bit by bit, I imagine it's just making me dumber. Anyway, I'm still getting used to people making multiple videos about prices getting crushed, why you need to buy now, and then prices getting smashed further, and then why you need to buy more. There are a lot of channels doing this. Some are just a lot worse than others, but in that period of time, you'll see a drop of maybe a few percentage points. So the only thing truly getting smashed are the wild price predictions that those same people were talking about when the metals were on the upswing. So anyway, there's just some really dumb stuff out there. None of us are swing trading physical gold. We're buying a reasonable amount on a scheduled basis mostly, I imagine, and that results in pretty boring price deviations when you look at your average spend. And I'd say that's one of the benefits of gold. It's an asset that trends up, sometimes it trends down, but over time it appreciates. And I do like to hear what people have to say about price predictions if they've got a rational basis for it. Now, my experience over the past decade plus, I guess, has been that it really doesn't do a whole lot in terms of swings. It just appreciates over time, and it's not the thing that you need to be nervous about. All right, so if we want to get a little bit more specific on that plan, my personal plan right now is a little bit up in the air. Now, I wanted to finish a tube of Buffaloes, but that isn't something that just happens overnight. These things are expensive. And I do have ad revenue. Anyone who has a channel and has ad revenue is probably spending more than they would normally be buying. I think that's a safe bet. Now, if I didn't have the channel though, I'd probably still be making fractional purchases every month. I wouldn't be going with the American Gold Eagles though. The premium on that right now is 35%. Now when I was doing it, I was getting quarter ounce Eagles for 9% premium. That's a totally different situation. Now they're not going to stay at 35%. I think it's a short-term thing, but if I was starting it back up today, I'd go with quarter ounce Canadian maple leaf coins. Just in a quick search, I found some for $480, and then a little bit more easily, I found them for $490. That's about a 12% premium. So if I was planning a monthly budget around $500, that's what I'd do. Britannias, Kangaroos, Philharmonics, Krugerrands, they're even a little bit cheaper, and any of them are solid choices. So I'm finding those for 10% premium right now. But I'll always spend a little bit more if I know that it's going to be easier to sell. And I know that my local dealers still prefer maple leafs to other foreign gold. So I'm willing to pay the extra, it's about $5. And when the American Gold Eagles come back down, I would probably switch right back to them. And of course, now that I'm talking about those quarter ounce American Gold Eagles, I don't even have any with me to show, but the other way to bring down the price, of course, is to slow down your purchases and buy 1 ounce coins. I do have some of them with me. And this is counterintuitive, but the reason the monthly purchases have always made sense to me is pretty simple. Slowing down my purchases to every 4 months or whatever it is gives me 4 months to find something else to spend my $2,000 on. And if I miss that 4-month purchase and then I go to 8 months, well then I'm pretty much out of the habit entirely. So I don't mind spending a little bit more on premium to get that smaller form factor if it's an easier purchase. And back to the reason for this channel, since that was the question that brought this whole thing up, is I like the idea of showing what I'm buying in these videos. That's part of the fun, that keeps me doing it, that keeps me on track and on plan. And I like to watch what others are picking up as well, but I do find that makes it a little bit harder for me to stick with any one thing. I guess it's kind of hard to call that a problem. Now the original name that I had for the channel was Door Marked Private. I don't know that that's a good name at all, but I thought that I'd be talking more about more than precious metals. I thought I'd be talking about other plans, other ways of getting ahead, maybe even having some fun. I guess that some of the things that show up on the edge of my videos, I thought maybe I'd be talking about a little bit more directly. But 2020 changed my mind and my mood on a lot of things, and that's when I got this started. So we'll see how it goes over time. I'll either be widening the topic a bit as things maybe get a little more normal, or I'll be spinning up another channel. But right now, that's it. 2 is 1 is about common sense planning, and hopefully doing it without driving anxiety or pumping the doom and gloom. So that's it. Let us know in the comments what your plans are, what you're buying, whether that's gold or something else entirely. And there's still time to get in a question for the Q&A too if you'd like. And while you're there, you know what I'm going to say. Hit that like button if you're interested in the topic. And if you've made it this far, thanks again for watching. I always appreciate your time. Take care.